wrestling fans. Welcome to this Sunday night's episode of the All-Star Wrestling. I'm Herb Simmons, and tonight, the main event, you'll see Kowalski defend the Classic Championship against Kenny Kingston. Also, Jason Breed will be in action. Bobby D takes on Shogun, and Steve Michaels will be in action, and we'll hear from the Big Texan. Now, let's go up to ringside for our opening bout. Well, fans, here we are with the opening match tonight, and the young popular Jason Breed. And when you talk about a wrestler who has improved over the years, this man has really taken it serious, and you can just see he is now he has elevated himself, and he backs down from nobody. Tonight, he's going against one of the graduates of the Ace Wrestling Academy, Cade Maxon. And there you see Cade Maxon wasting no time. You know, he says, I'm going to come in, and he backs him in the corner. But there, Jason Breed says, nope, it's not going to work, but you got to give this Cade Maxon credit. He is on fire. He wants to make a name for himself. He's got a long career ahead of him, and right now he's trying to go up that ladder against Jason Breed. Oh, a big right forearm. But Jason Breed, as I said, he has been in the gym, he's been hitting the weights, and he has got something to prove. And he is sure doing it here tonight against Cade Maxon. We appreciate you joining us here each and every Sunday evening as we bring you the finest in professional wrestling. And now a reversal. Maxon runs in and puts that knee right up into the chest of Jason Breed and knocks him down in that corner. And now starts to put the boots to the midsection, and the referee calling for the break, telling him to get out of there. You see Maxon just going in, blatantly choking him. Fans, don't forget, March the 1st at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds, SICW returns. And what an all-star card we've got lined up there. We're going to be talking about that this evening. But in the meantime, Jason Breed right back on the attack after Cade Maxon picks him up, and just like a sack of potatoes, a shoulder breaker, drops him down on that knee. That slows Cade Maxon down. Working on that shoulder. This might be, he uses that arm bar for a submission hold, and it looks like he's really loosening up. Cade Maxon takes him down to the canvas. That's one thing about Jason Breed. He likes winning these matches with a submission hold. He continues to work on that left arm of Cade Maxon. Throws him into that corner. Brings him out. Whips him off of the rope. Picks him up and drops him flat down on the canvas. Goes over for the cover. Count of 1, 2. But no, Cade Maxon reaches down inside and kicks out at a 2 count. You got to give the young man credit. He is coming back. But Jason Breed now, a blow to the side of the head. He misses with that one. Maxon comes off. And now it's Breed finds himself on the canvas. This is a back and forth match. Like I said, Cade Maxon, a graduate of the Ace Wrestling Academy, showing what he was taught by the WWE legend Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. and the coaches. As you see right now, he drops Breed down. Now he's going to cover. This could be a big upset here. 1, 2, but no, it's Breed that kicks out. Both of these men are saying, nope, the fight's not over. Now a reverse chin. He got that knee planted in the middle of shoulder blades. Pulling back on the chin. Referee making sure it doesn't slip down into a chokehold. Jason, takes a knee to the head. That'll make you see stars. Maxon slow to get up. Jason takes him over with a hip toss. Grabs that arm. Now takes him down to the canvas, and this could be it. He's got that arm bar cinched in. He's got it locked in, and the referee's checking. Is Maxon going to tap out here? Yes, he is. There you see it. And just what I said, Jason Breed is going to win this one with a submission hold. That arm bar, and Cade Maxon tapped out. Fans, let's go to ringside and hear from Curtis Wilde and Billy McNeil.
Wrestling fans, I am here with the SICW Tag Team Champions, Volatile Curtis Wilde, Billy McNeil, of course, here with the #1 Ginger Wildfire. Gentlemen, you have been very successful recently, defending your tag titles on multiple occasions. Your reign's just getting started. How are you feeling now that you're getting settled in as the tag champs?
I gotta tell you, baby, it feels great. It feels great because nobody saw it coming, including Billy McNeil, including Curtis Wilde. We were some great professional wrestlers in our own right, but we came together, formed a tag team, and now we're the best tag team in the world today.
Billy!
Whoa. What I need to know is where's our competition? Where's the great tag teams? Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express, Pineapple Express, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Curtis, I forgot what I'm talking about. You take this.
You're saving movies. So the fact is that he is trying to get across that we need competition, baby. We need competition here. And all I see is a bunch of punk kids running around with their nose in the air. There's a lot of cleaning that needs to be done around here. We got a lot of people like that Kalen kid. We got Kate Maxson out here. And they came from the Ace Wrestling Academy. So you would think that Cowboy Bob Orton instilled humble in these guys. But unfortunately, they get a little training under their belt and they think they can just shoot to the moon and use guys like us as stepping stools, and that's just not happening. Because when you step on through to Billy McNeil, when you step on through to the Wild side, there is only one outcome. Billy McNeil plus Curtis Wilde and Wildfire equal gold.
Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, proof is in the pudding. Gold on the shoulders and the waist of your tag team champions. I think this run's just getting started.
Kids, anytime you want a shot, step on up to the plate and step on through to the Wild side.
Woo! Tag team champions forever. We're never gonna die.
You will, Don. Ladies and gentlemen, we gotta take a commercial break. We'll be right back with this week's Promoters Corner.
Hey everybody, What Were They Thinking is proud to be a part of the show with Herb Simmons at SICW.
Show some enthusiasm, Joe. Put on a damn bow tie. We got Herb Simmons. We got the Kill Arena. We got St. Louis, where Mr. Briscoe is in the Hall of Fame. What Were They Thinking? It's available on Backstage Pass. Sportskeedas, our buddies. We talk about the wildest, the craziest, the dumbest, the insane moments in wrestling history that I'm proud to be a part of because, Mr. Briscoe, you're the one that hired me.
And I don't know what I was thinking when I did that, John.
That's not nice. Not nice at all. We love Herb Simmons. And Herb Simmons, you have been there forever. Mr. Briscoe thinks you might be 1,000. I don't think you're a day over 900. We love St. Louis. What were they thinking, Backstage Pass?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and it is time to take a trip to this week's Promoters Corner.
Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to the Promoters Corner here on each and every Sunday night. And I am extremely excited about the Promoters Corner tonight because when I talk about friends in the wrestling business, this gentleman is at the top of my list, none other than the great Jerry Briscoe. Jerry, thank you for taking time out to come on the Promoters Corner here at SICW. And when I say the best, I really mean that from the heart.
Well, I appreciate that, Herb. You know how I feel about you. I said, I just got off doing a podcast with my good buddy JBL, Stories with Briscoe and Bradshaw. We had on David Foley, the actor, comedian, and the UFO expert, and I know I'm going to butcher his name, but Dean Arioto or something like that. He just did a documentary called The Alien Perspective, and it's on prime time right now. And our podcast about this UFO deal will be dropping pretty soon. It's a great conversation with two great experts, entertainers, TV producers, documentary makers, and just all around good people. And so, if you get a chance, Alien Perspective, it's on Prime and it's streamed on Apple TV. So just check it out. It's a great watch. 55 minutes and you're entertained and you're wanting more. So, but man, let's talk wrestling. You know, and funny thing, Dean was telling me he had two passions as a kid. The first one was professional wrestling. The second one, movie making. He said, I tried professional wrestling. One of his buddies headbutted him. He said that was the end of his wrestling career. So,
That was,
goodness, he's a movie producer.
yeah, he went the opposite direction, but that sounds like a good program to check out. So you fans out there, you get a chance, check that out because,
And by
and
the
if
way,
you have,
JBL told me to tell you hello too. He said he's the only guy I know that was there when Abe Lincoln was traded for the Little Giant there. So he said
well, I tell you,
when you promoted their matches all through Illinois. I said, well, that's his home state. They're right there in Illinois and Missouri. So, you know, and JBL told me to tell you hello.
well, he's a great guy, and that little promo that you guys sent me that we play every Sunday night, and you fans will see it right here. It's great. It was unsolicited. I was surprised. I mean, you thought I was 1,000 years old, and JBL thought I was only about nine.
I told John 999 years old. He just put 1,000 on. He
But
rounded
you're right. Let's talk some wrestling. And I know we've got the big SICW Fan Fest 3. I'm crazy. I'm doing a third one now, and with your support each year, you've been there. And May 16th and 17th this year, I know you're going to join us. You and a group from the Hall of Fame up at the Tragus says. Chad Olson and a bunch of them are coming down, but anytime that I can have Jerry Briscoe at one of my shows, and especially this Fan Fest, because I'm old school, and St. Louis was old school.
Well, Herb, I hate to in front of you, but I brag on you all the time. There's very few promoters out there that puts on a smooth, flowing, entertaining show from start to finish, and don't make you wait 20 minutes in between matches and all. Very well organized. And if you see a show, and then that's the cake. The icing on the cake is the Fan Fest, where you get to interact with all these people, and you and your crew that work their heinies off, bring in some of the best people. Not only are they good people, but they're personal friends of mine. So I enjoy hanging around, talking to my old buddies, telling lies, making exaggerations, sold out this before the title, all the old wrestler talk and everything. So it's a fun time. And the guys are so friendly and so fan interactive there. It's like you're at a family dinner instead of a fan fest.
Well, and like I said, you're right. All the guys that come in are guys that you've interacted with over the years. You've either been in the ring with most of them, or you helped get a lot of their career started for them. And like Dr. D, David Schultz, he's going to be there. Tito Santana's coming in again this year. Abdullah the Butcher, the Rock and Roll Express, Dan DeVee Severin. So it's kind of a who's who list of people. Shane Douglas, Buck Bagwell. And that list is just growing. The one thing I know, last year we had about 60 legends in there, but I can assure you it's not going to be 60 this year because it was a logistic nightmare. But the good thing is for you fans that are following us, it's at the Hilton at the St. Louis airport this year. Before I had to worry about getting 60 legends in and out of town, but this year they'll be able to fly into St. Louis Lambert Airport and catch a shuttle that runs every 15 minutes and come right across the interstate, and they're there. So I'm really excited about this new location. I think it's going to be great for it. But, Jerry, not only are we celebrating the SICW Fan Fest, I always tie it in with the Bruiser Brody, Larry Matasek, and another good friend of mine, Tony Costa, who ran the Missouri side with me at South Broadway Athletic Club. Kind of a tribute to them every year. But you were dear friends, I know, with both Larry Matasek and Bruiser Brody. Can you tell our viewers a couple of stories about those two guys?
Well, I miss them both dearly because not only were they the wrestler, you have acquaintances and you have friends, and when those acquaintances become friends, it's really special. And Larry, I enjoyed talking St. Louis wrestling history with Larry. I miss those conversations, which I'm sure you do too. And but what great conversations we had. I mean, I was a Wild Bill Longston fan when I first started. I didn't know a lot about Wild Bill, and all you had to do is ask Larry. and you got an edge in it. Bobby Bird, the guys like that, that was in the dressing room that are famous people that are overlooked a lot of times. How can those two get overlooked? But you know yourself, Herbert, those two guys, Bob Burns and Wild Bill, they're overlooked by a lot of people. So if you get a chance, pick up the history book and tune into JBL Live podcast. We give you a lot of history stories with Briscoe. We give you a lot of wrestling history. But Brody, man, I mean, oh wow, I've known him since Frank Goodish, and one of my dear friends from Iowa State University was actually a freshman with Frank when he was originally he went to Iowa State University and had to leave there and went to West Texas and continued his football career there. But I got friends that go all the way back to his freshman year in college. So just a lot of history with those two guys, and just wonderful memories each time I think of their names.
Well, and of course, his widow, lovely Barbara Goodish, joins us every year in St. Louis, and I really appreciate her. For years now, she's made that commitment to me because we are keeping his legacy alive. Because he was, whether he was King Kong Brody or whether he was Bruiser Brody or Frank Goodish, wherever he was at, as you well know, he came in and really stole the show. Some of the greatest feuds ever was him and Abdullah the Butcher, and I was fortunate to have that show. I ran through the state of Missouri and Illinois several different times, and nobody got tired of it. You put their name on a marquee, the people were coming. So that, and then we also tied in with the Wrestling at the Chase memories. This year is our 66th year. If it would have stayed on television in St. Louis, it started in 1959, and this month is my 52nd year of promoting, and so I kind of made myself the promise that as long as the good Lord allows me, old school wrestling is what I want to do. And so that's why I'm so passionate about Wrestling at the Chase, because I've got the tapes, I got the library of Dick the Bruiser. I'm slowly getting it transformed over from the TV. It's still on the 1-inch reels, and it's still the metal casing, but I was able to secure the Bruiser's tapes from Louise before she passed away. And so I'll have that footage that I'm going to be putting out there eventually, hopefully. But so that's why we try to cherish and preserve that history. When I think back to, Jack, when he was in St. Louis, and you guys that wrestled at the Chase. I mean, there was no other place like that. Am I right?
Oh, man, that was so special, Herb. And what great memory. But, wrestling at the Chase, unlike any other venue in the United States, and probably the closest to it would be like a European audience or something like that. I mean, it was how can you put wrestling and elegance at the same table? But basically that's what Sam was actually produced here at Wrestling at the Chase. And he had all types of dignitaries come in and out of there. It was just a phenomenal place to go. And as a kid growing up, in the business, that's a place that you always wanted to be. And that to finally get there and be able to perform there was a different feeling. And you always try to pick up your game when you went to St. Louis, because only the best were invited up there. And it's still that way to you. You're old school that same way. Only the best are invited to Herb Simmons Fan Fest. And that was a Sam Munchick deal there, right out of St. Louis. Booking 101. Only bring the best guys in because you get the best performance out of them. And then you're carrying on that tradition, and it's much appreciated.
Well, and a lot of times the fans only can go to YouTube or different social media platforms, but a lot of guys got their starts right there. Bob Ellis, Cowboy Bob Ellis.
Wow.
People like Farmer Marlin. And then you had the mask guys to come in, the Crimson Knight, and of course Harley was real big there back in the day, and it was just
DiBiase got his wings there thanks to my brother Jack.
Yes, he did. In fact, I've got tapes of that. But then you had the Kenji Sabuyas and Tyra Mariaki, and they were just great guys. And like you said, Sam would bring them in, and I remember when he let the Sheik come in one time and worked at the keel, and they paid him and said, well, we don't need his style back here. And he was kind of too wild for Sam,
Yeah.
And so, but again, wrestling at the Chase, 66 years going strong if it would have stayed on television. And, we're not trying to be wrestling at the Chase, because I've always said we don't have the guys such as yourself or as Dick the Bruiser or people like that could still come in and tell that story inside those that squared circle. But we're trying to do the best we can. I got a great locker room that's trying to carry on that tradition. And I think that's why I've been able to do it now for 52 years. I mean, I got a guy like the Night Train Gary Jackson that started out with Larry and I.
Gary Jackson, man, Herbert, don't get much funner. And let's give props to the Hall of Famer to be Ron Powers that's coming in. I mean, what a locker room leader that gentleman is. I mean, he's a guy that if you're young and you're walking into a dressing room, you just glance your eyes over there and you watch that man. You watch how he takes his bag apart. You watch how he gets dressed. You watch how he walks through the ring. Watch how he conducts himself in the dressing room. That's how to become a professional. And then Ron Powers is the epitome of a professional.
Well, he just came back this last November. I pulled him out of retirement. We had a little storyline going on. The Devastation Incorporated, headed by Stephen E. and Attila Khan and Haku and the Barbarian, taking on my All-American team of Ron Powers, Danny Boy, and Gary Jackson. And thanks to Ron, I was able to save the company, and they saved it for me. And the fans really loved it, and I was glad that Ron came back. And in fact, as you said, he's going to receive the Sam Muchnick Award at the Fan Fest, because he's done a lot for wrestling in St. Louis, and he traveled the roads with Brody and people like Blackwell and Murdoch and Valentine, so he's well deserving of that. But like I said, so that's enough about Fan Fest. Just mark the date down, fans. It's Friday night, May 16th. Bill Apter will be there that night. He'll be doing a question and answer session with some of the boys that come in town early. So there's a ticket for that you can purchase by going to SICW.org. All the information's on there.
He charged me last year, Herb.
He did?
Yeah, he charged me to get in to see that one-man show, and I laughed my rear end off. I guess it was worth the price of admission, but Bill's a funny man.
Well, and this year I told him, I said, I want a question and answer. A lot of the fans want to come and to just kind of do what we're doing now. Listen to the stories of people like Jerry Briscoe and everybody else who's going to be there. But that'll be Friday evening, and then Saturday the Fan Fest will start at 10 a.m. We got some vendors that will be set up in the hallway. Got some guys that will be there doing their podcast, and got some people going to be selling their goods and whatever. But the main thing is come and support them, and come and support these wrestlers that are coming there, that you get to really sit and take time with them and get an autograph, get a picture with them, because I'm telling you, I really push the issue of photos, because just like me, I've got a collection that's next to none that I've collected for all these years. And when I tell you, when I've got time to sit around and I start pulling them out, man, you talk about a trip down memory lane. It does the heart good and does the soul good. So I encourage our fans to take photos and keep them. And that's on this. And then at 5 o'clock that evening on Saturday, we'll have the induction of the class of 2025 going into the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame that Larry and myself and Nick Red and I, our senior referees, started many years ago. And I think we're up to about 59 people that we've inducted in there. And as Mr. Briscoe said, it's the who's who of professional wrestling. If you want to know who made St. Louis great, it's in the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame right now. And I got to say, Mr. Briscoe's in there with him. His brother is in there, because very well deserving. They had some of the greatest matches in St. Louis. Some of the greatest feuds ever was with the Dory and Terry Funk. And so you can't have a Hall of Fame without the Briscoes in it. But then at 7 p.m., we'll do the Bruiser Brody wrestling card. That night will be ended up with a battle royal, and the winner will be presented that beautiful trophy cup by the widow of Bruiser Brody, Barbara Goody. So it's an all-star card. It's a great time. It's very economical. I know people are having hard times now, but start saving up now. Go and get your ticket and join us. But now, Jerry, let's talk about what's going to take place in July 17th, 18th, and 19th up in Waterloo, Iowa. I'm telling you, I look forward every year. My wife looks forward to coming up there because you've got an organization there that is growing leaps and bounds.
Well, I tell you, last year was our 25th anniversary, and it couldn't have gone better. I mean, the founders, we were very fortunate enough. Mike Chapman, the founder, and Charlie Thez, widow of the Lou Thez. Mike and Charlie were there together. Charlie brought Mike there. First time Mike had been there in years. He was so impressed and so pleased. And to see the smile on his face, with the record turnout, the record crowds, and the way people were showing respect and casting love towards Mike was fantastic. So we have to follow it, and every good organization is only as good as the people that make it up. And I feel like the staff that they have there in Waterloo is the best staff that you could possibly have. Starting with the leader there, Coach Jim Miller, and Coach Dan Gable, and Becca Roper, who's the office manager there that makes the wheels roll in that museum. And of course, the great Chad Peterson I got, and Gloria Lovell, who's been invaluable to our organization up here. James Beard, who's on our board. Just added John Bradshaw Layfield on the board. And if I'm missing anybody, I'm sorry. And so we got a great organization. We got great staff, and they're working their butts off. And the roster that they've all put together this year is one of the best all-time rosters that you probably have. We have football great, wrestling great, Ron Simmons as the Gotch Award winner. Now, the Gotch symbolizes toughness and durability. There ain't nobody tougher in our business than a Ron Simmons, more durable than a Ron Simmons. I mean, it's so well deserving. We just announced the great Andrea Bray's Medusa, which you've had there at your fantastic fan fest several times. She's getting the Lou Thez Award, becoming only the third woman ever in 26 years to receive a Lou Thez Award for her impact on professional wrestling, and how she'd gone about her career, not only a professional wrestler, but a monster truck driver, a lady monster truck driver, and a winning monster truck driver. So we got a cast, and we have Tank Abbott coming in, a real unique character, a real brawler, and a real articulate man that I befriended a few years ago. He's coming in to receive the Tragus Award, and so we just got Ron Hutchison, the great Ron Hutchison from Canada, who trained Edge Christian. He has a surprise. I'm gonna break it right here. He's having Edge come in to present him. So he trained Edge Christian, Trish Stratus, Gail Kim, and several other major stars. So we got as Hollywood said, we got to cast 1,000.
Man, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, it's always such a great event that they put on up there, and I mean, it's family friendly. I mean, everybody is just there to have a great time and support the great cause, and it's all about professional wrestling. And you guys really put on a super show, and I'm really excited. I'm really thankful this year you've asked SICW to be part of it.
I was going to say that. I was going to say, Herb, and not only will we have all those great ceremonies, but the wrestling part of it, I think you'll see a great show coming on. And like we talked before, a show that St. Louis wrestling will be proud of, and we'll make it even better in Waterloo. Where, by the way, the NWA was founded, for those of you people who don't know there. So you could go right down the block and visit the hotel where the NWA was founded. So it's quite a historic place for professional wrestling.
Well, and I think that's what makes it so unique. I mean, because it was founded right there. Like you said, the hotel there where they had their office at is still there. But you know, you can go and check out the museum. Man, you walk in there and you want to see the amateur style. You want to see the professional style. It's all right there in the one building. And of course, you know, the hotel is right there.
Well, Dan Gable is. I mean, we're kind of just flashing over Dan Gable. But you've interacted with Dan. Dan, you know, he's old school amateur wrestler, one of the greatest coaches of all time, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Herb, in your opinion, how Dan Gable react and treat professional wrestling fans?
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you. I mean, it is. That's what I said. It's all about when I walked in there. I had never really followed the amateur style until I walked into that museum, met Dan, met the staff, and then when you walk through there, and then you start reading the history of what took place there. I mean, how can those two not go? I wouldn't want to tangle with Dan. I can tell you that. You know, he'd tie you up like a pretzel. And but no, it's just such a great atmosphere. The fans are everybody seems to be like family. And I think that's what's really unique about the whole deal. And I'm really excited, you know, when you called and said, hey, you know, would you be interested in doing the SICW show on the 19th? I think we're going to put together one heck of a card. And I can't think of a better way to end out that celebration up there with the reunion than having a great card. You know, Troy Peterson and his group has been doing it for many, many years up there, and it's going to be a hard act to follow, but I think we can do it. You know, I've got guys like a Telecon that will be there.
And hats off to Troy Peterson too, and his Impact Wrestling group there. They busted their ass for years and years. They took it over out from Harley Race, by the way, and Newton, Iowa, you know, and then when it followed us to Waterloo when the museum moved up there. But they put on quality shows all over the state of Iowa, and so check them out too when you get a chance, just as Herb shows.
Yeah, well, and since we announced it a week ago that we were going to be coming up there, I've already had fans from that area that we were friends with on social media asking if, you know, we were going to be using some of the local talent. And I said, why, sure. There's no reason why I wouldn't. I mean, I've already announced that the popular James Jeffries is going to be in action that night there. A nice young upcoming man, and you know, he's a good hand, and he's been down here doing some work for me. And so yeah, there's quite a few of the local talent up there that has reached out to me, and we will mix them into the mix up there. We're gonna, you know, we're not going to have 20 matches, but we're going to have some matches that I think people's going to say, whoa, wait a minute, come on now. But I think it'll be interesting, and I'm just honored to be part of it. I'm always glad to be up there. As you know, each year I've brought a couple of the legends with me. Bob Orton usually tags along, and we can't forget about him, you know.
Let's hope we see a Cowboy Ace this time. Was it your show or no, it had to be Iowa, or he thought he was there and he went back home or something like that? Where was that?
No, that was up there.
That was last year, right?
Yeah, I just had him. He just wrestled for me last weekend. He was against the Telecon, and I was helping another promotion here to just getting started, and they wanted a legend, and so I brought Bob in, and
wow, that's a legend. And you just said that so casually. They wanted a legend, so I brought Bob. I mean, one of the biggest legends in our business. I'm proud to say, I've told you this, I've told Bobby and Randy, I'm one of the few men left alive that's breathing on God's green earth that's had the hell beat out of about every Orton that laced up their boots.
Yeah, well, as you know, I inducted Bob into the St. Louis Hall of Fame last year because his father has been in there. His father, Bob Orton Sr., was on the first television show back in 1959 of Wrestling at the Chase, and So when Randy gets ready to retire, I'm going to induct him, and then I'll have all three of them into the Hall of Fame there. So it's a great. I gave Randy his first match back over at South Broadway Athletic Club on the independent side, and so I told him, I said, well, you kind of owe me, and I think he did. He paid his due because he showed up last year at the SICW independent show, and I was so shocked that he was able to do that. I mean, I had promoters from around the country calling me and say, man, how did you get Randy Orton to come in and do that? I said, I know Jerry Briscoe.
Right here, he's family, man. That's all you could say. I did. He's family.
That's what he said. He said, I've learned these years I'll just do it and ask for forgiveness later. but what a great family. Bob and I've been friends for all these years, and he runs the training school for me. And
I gave just a great kick. Bobby's wife and my wife are best friends, and they've exchanged Christmas cards. So every once in a while around the holidays, if the time's right or something, I think it was going right with Randy, I'll post one of those kid pictures. I mean, I got pictures of Randy, from pooping in his pants, all the way up where him and West are trying to figure out how to ride a jet ski. West are trying to teach him how to ride a jet ski out here on my lake out here one time. So I got pictures of Randy coming all through his life.
Well, that's great. So fans, don't forget July 17th, 18th, and 19th. If you're in the Waterloo, Iowa area, or even if you're not, the St. Louis area, it's a 5-hour drive. Follow me. We're going to be going up, and it's a great time. It's another great organization that if you're a professional wrestling fan and if you're watching this program, then you got to be. You want to check out Waterloo, Iowa, the Tragus Thez Hall of Fame. You never know who's going to show up. And like I said, Mr. Briscoe has been one of the spearheaders of that organization. And so it's done the right way. And plus, the SICW is going to be a part of it on the 19th, that Saturday evening. We'll be doing the wrestling show, and we're excited about that. So, Jerry, before we get off of here, tell the fans why the Briscoe and Bradshaw podcast. What culminated that? Whose idea was that?
Well, it's kind of a mutual idea. During COVID, we're all bored. You couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't do anything. You had to So JBL, as you know, is a natural wise ass. He's a Texan, so he's a natural wise ass, and he says the same thing about me being an Okie. So we're trading barbs on social media just to kind of put a smile on our faces and hopefully put a smile on the faces that we're talking about, because we're both very positive people, as you know. And so, we like to think positive and kind of pick up the spirits of people out there. So, you kind of run your course individually. So one day he called, he said, hey, why don't we do something together? Why don't we just do something together? Then one of my amateur wrestling friends, I kind of told him what we're doing. A young man by the name of Yoshi Nakamura, who was All-American at University of Pitt, and Mr. Bojangles, he got Bojangles, that chain there in Virginia. He said, man, why don't they? He said, I might be able to get you guys some help. Why don't you guys do a show and we'll put it together? So that's basically how we started. And we like to, professional wrestling, Herb, as you know, is a variety show. We're variety. So we're not only we have current wrestlers, but we got wrestlers from the past. We not only have wrestlers, we have announcers, we have referees, we have all a cameraman, we have writers, we have all that. And then we occasionally we'll do one of these old rock and roll guys, that's making a comeback. We'll do an interview with him. And recently we've been doing some UFO Area 51 podcasts. There with fantastic guests. I get a little intimidated by their intelligence, but as long as I got Bradshaw, don't tell him I feel pretty secure with those guys. And so, but we're a variety podcast. You can get anywhere you get podcasts. Like us on Facebook, go to Facebook or YouTube. Stories with Briscoe and Bradshaw on YouTube, and hit that little thumbs up thing that you like and subscribe to us and everything. It'll help out, and we appreciate all the help that you give us, Herb, through the years. You put our commercials on your TV show, which is greatly appreciated. We appreciate it. We like the history of our business. We like to share that. We think if any young people out there want to know a little bit, impress your friends, something about a little bit of history, some of the tough guys in the business, some of the real workers in the business, some of the greatest heroes in the business, and some of the greatest territories in the business, we have somebody that's an expert on there that can tell you about that. So try to impress somebody.
Oh yeah. Well, and like I said, JBL, you're right. He's a guy that is he can do a one-man show and do it all. And then when you throw you in the mix of it, look out, it's double entertainment. And I watch it all the time because I know I'm in for a treat. And the way you guys banter back and forth with one another is great. But I think what really sold me on John is when he came into the Fan Fest and he raised money for Black Bart. I thought, you hear so much about the negative of people, but you don't see the good side in some of them until you get to know them like that. And he didn't have to do that. He took his money and we ended up losing Bart, but they were great friends. And but that really touched me when he did that. So I know he's got a kind heart, and even though he knocks you all the time, I know he loves you.
Don't put him over so damn strong. He ain't Harry. He'll listen to this because he always does. He always calls me, "Hey, did you watch the Hurt?" I know I missed it. Well, damn it, you should watch it. He has this guy on, this guy on. So
well, tell him that's
our spots on top of it. So he'll give me grief. Don't put his ass over. He's a Texan. He's like Murdoch. He's like all those old Texans, man.
Just tell him it was a work. I'm just trying to sweeten him up so maybe he'll join us for the Fan Fest.
I hope so, man. He livens things up when he's there, doesn't
he? Yeah, oh my gosh, there's people that just want to come and sit around and listen to you guys talk. I mean, could you imagine having the Briscoe and Bradshaw podcast there? They'd love it, man. But listen, Jerry, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I really appreciate it as always. You're the greatest. I'm telling you, the fans, when they listen to this, they're going to say, Herb's got some high friends in high places with Jerry Briscoe.
Well, thank you, Herb. I feel the same way. Have a good evening, man.
Very good. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Thank you, fans. That's the Promoter's Corner, and we will be back here next Sunday night with another special guest. Don't know if I can outdo this one, but we'll try. We'll see you next Sunday.
Wrestling fans, you saw it. That was this week's Promoter's Corner, and we are back. And I am here with the AIWF National Heavyweight Champion. He is the Night Train, Gary Jackson.
First of all, I would like to say it's good to be back here in the SICW arena. It's good to see the fans behind us. We did some great things in 2024. We're looking to do more great things in 2025.
You got the band back together and saved this place.
Yeah, we did. We knew our work was going to be hard. We knew it was an uphill battle. But when we was going down here, brother, it was all but over for the other team. We just had to seal the deal.
We heard Curtis and Billy, our tag champs, talk about how in November, which you helped, they're doing a little house cleaning here at SICW. You've been a part of that now for pretty much the entire last year, continuing house cleaning in 2025.
Every company is as good as its leadership. Our leadership here with Herb Simmons, been here 52 years. It gets no better than that, Daddy. Being a part of SCW and making sure it go right, that is what the Night Train is all about. Keeping everybody together, keeping it strong, keeping our leadership straight, and moving down the track.
Yes, sir. You want to hit it with the rules?
Rule number 1 is I'm coming to win. Rule number 2 is I refuse to lose. Rule number 3 is I will do my best to beat you. And rule number 4, ladies and gentlemen, is the most important rule of them all. If you know it, say it with me. Don't forget the rules. Last but not who's willing and able to step up to the plate, come get me. Because I'm on call 365, 24/7, Daddy. I am the AIWF National Heavyweight Champion.
Strong words from a fighting champion, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to take a commercial break. We will be right back with Bobby D in action.
SICW presents FanFest 3, St. Louis, May 16th and 17th. Hilton, St. Louis Airport, Nikita Koloff, Missy Hyatt, Gangrel, Teddy Long and Mac Davis, Tito Santana, and Bill Apter. More to come. SICW FanFest 3. For more info, SICW.org.
Well, wrestling fans, right here, the Masked Man, Shogun, squaring off against Belleville's own Bobby D. What a match this ought to be. Anytime Bobby D is in that squared circle, he is the fan favorite. And right now, the mysterious one, Shogun, chasing away those evil spirits, takes you back to the days of Kenji Shibuya and Taira Mariaki when they used to be at Wrestling at the Chase. Boy, what great memories those was. There you see, doing that ritual. They used to say it chased away the evil spirits. I think the only spirit that he better chase away here is going to be Bobby D, because Bobby D isn't worried about those spirits. He comes to win as they lock up in the center of that ring. Headlock. Switch around, go behind with an arm bar. And Shogun, oh, nice leg takedown. Shogun showing that he can wrestle. Well, that's what it's called. And Bobby D now comes up again. Hooks him up like he's in a pretzel hold there. Referee Nick Reddenauer goes in to count the shoulders down, gets the 2 count, and Bobby D just that quick ends up with a straight arm bar and twisting it around the opposite direction that it's supposed to go. Oh, delivers a big chop right to the chest area. Oh, and with that drag, he flips him over. Both men showing that they've got some ability to wrestle here. We knew Bobby D, young man that works with the youth in Belleville and teaches them amateur wrestling. And speaking of that, we're going to be going to the Little Devils once again this year for the fundraiser they have each year. We're all so excited about that. We'll be giving you the dates on that as we get some more information, but it's already been locked in. We'll be going to the Belleville's Little Devil again. It's always a great time. Oh, look at this. Up in the air, big suplex. And it's Shogun hitting the canvas the hard way, but kicks out. Ooh, that was a close one. Just got that shoulder up just in time. Fans, don't forget, Saturday night, March the 1st, Belleville, Illinois, the Big Texan will be in action against Big Nasty Glenn Williams. That's right. Can't wait for that one. And then something that has been advertised, I'm not too excited about that because, you know, anytime this guy is in the building, you never know what's going to happen. And I'm talking about the Mongolian monster himself, Attila Khan, making his return after he was basically forced to leave back in November at the hands of Ron Powers, Gary Jackson, and Danny Boy. For those of you who remember, it was a all-out war, Devastation Incorporated, headed by Stephen E., with his crew of the Barbarian, Haku, and Attila Khan. And of course, the victory went to Powers and Jackson and Danny Boy, and SICW remained intact. And there you see Shogun just blatantly choking Bobby D, the referee, counting on him as to the count of 5 to break those illegal holds, and he just barely got that broke. Now tosses Bobby D off, misses with the clothesline, and Bobby D takes Shogun down. Takes him down a second time. He misses with that clothesline up in the air. Bobby D with a power slam. Oh, man. Now what's he doing? Oh, he's setting him up for that sharpshooter. There he goes. This is a submission hold himself. Bobby D's won a lot of matches with this. He's got it cinched in. Referee will be asking him, do you want, yeah, he signals for the bell. Fans, Bobby D is the winner here. Now let's go down to Dr. Groove for some information.
Ladies and gentlemen, the last time we were in Belleville, Illinois, we saw the man who will be challenging for the Central States title this Saturday, the Big Texan, in action against the Windy City Terror, Steve Michaels. Let's take a look. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and you just saw what happened when the Big Texan locked up with the Windy City Terror, Steve Michaels, recently in Belleville. So first, thoughts on that match against Lucky P. Larson's new henchman?
Stephen Michaels, let me tell you, you inserted yourself into a war that you don't belong in. Matter of fact, if I was you, I would leave now before you get seriously hurt. Now, Glenn, I hope you're studying the tape. And I'm also hoping that you're working out those neck muscles. Because when I get a hold of you, I'm going to decapitate you. And I won't take that belt. That's a guarantee.
Well, we saw what happened many, many months ago. Glenn Williams got himself a little too hyped up and issued a lariat challenge against yourself, which lasted, it was like a Mike Tyson fight, right? You knew what was coming, and he lasted, 10 seconds or so before the lariat put an end to Glenn Williams. Will that be what we see this Saturday in Belleville?
No. I want to break his neck off. I want to break his head. I want to see it rolling across the ring. because he can run his mouth and he can bring in his friends. But when he gets one-on-one with me, man, I want another trophy on my wall of Glenn Williams' head.
That'd be an ugly trophy.
It'll be one I would like.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard him. Saturday, March the 1st, the Big Texan has an opportunity to add one more title on his long list of accolades. So, good luck.
My trophy.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have to take a commercial break. We'll be right back with another match.
Wrestling fans, SICW Wrestling has been providing fundraising opportunities for several decades for local communities and nonprofit organizations. If your community or organization is in need of a great fundraising opportunity, SICW Professional Wrestling is the way to go. For more information or to schedule an event, call 618-286-4848 or 618-719-1034. We'll bring the matches to you.
Well, wrestling fans, when you talk about big men in SICW, Steve Michaels here in this match, and he's going to be going against Richard Shaw, and he's wasting no time. Richard Shaw didn't even get his gear off, and Steve Michaels from Chicago, Illinois, backs him into the corner and comes charging across. Boom! What a man, a mountain of a man. Richard Shaw is no slouch either. Fans, don't forget, next Saturday night, March the 1st, at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds, you're going to see the Big Texan take on Big Nasty Glenn Williams for that Central States title. And yes, the Canadian hero, Sean Vincent, will probably be at ringside with Big Nasty. It's always double trouble. And don't forget to mark down Saturday, March the 29th at the Ionide Shriners Temple, East St. Louis. The ladies will be in action when you see Lilith Khan take on Kelsey Magnolia, and they're right that quick. 1, 2, 3, and Michaels makes quick work of Richard Shaw.
Is Steve Michaels. Victorious.
There's my insurance policy.
Well, fans, this is the one we've been waiting for. This is your main event. And Kowalski, 450 pounds of raw meanness. He's taken on a up-and-coming young man in Kenny Kingston, who is a crowd favorite. When he gets out there and starts doing that dog chant and dog hooping, the crowd really gets behind him. And he's a big man also. This is going to be one. I hope they've got the ring pretty well secured now, because these are two monsters in there. And this is Kowalski. There you see him with that SICW Classic title. And yes, Lucky P. Larson Esquire, the manager of the Dogtown Underground. He is very proud of what he's accomplished here in SICW. If you don't believe it, just ask him. He'll tell you he has no problem with bragging about himself. He's probably his biggest fan that he's got is himself. But this here one is, now you see both of these big monsters just kind of walking around checking each other out. They lock up. Kowalski clamps on that side headlock. And Kingston now trying to power his way out of that. But there you see Kowalski punches to the midsection. Fans, don't forget, next Saturday night, you're going to see the main event, the Big Texan. Yeah, the Big Texan taking on Big Nasty Glenn Williams with Sean Vincent in his corner. And boy, I can't wait to see the outcome of that. Big Texan is fired up and he is ready. It's next Saturday night at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds in Belleville, Illinois. If you haven't reserved your seats, go to SICW.org and click on the icon that says March 1st, and you can reserve your seats. That's the way to do it. As you see Kowalski right now continue to work on Kenny Kingston right here in your main event tonight. And you'll see a lot more great action next Saturday night. And then mark your calendar for Saturday, March the 29th, when we are returning to the Ionized Shriners Temple in East St. Louis. Already signed for that night. The ladies in action, where you'll see Lilith Khan take on Kelsey Magnolia. For those of you who were there last year for the fundraiser, you know they were a tag team. They tagged up. But Lilith Khan, I should say, went crazy. I mean, went berserk. She took care of the other two young ladies and then turned on Kelsey, and now Kelsey says, I want her one-on-one. So what better way to put him back at the Shriners Temple in East St. Louis, a beautiful building. 5 o'clock, you want to be there. We'll have a great night. It's a fundraiser for our Shriners friends. We're always happy to be able to help them, and you'll see a lot more matches that night take place. But right now, you're watching Kowalski and Kenny Kingston battle here in the main event. Oh, nobody's at home. Kowalski charges in. Now Kingston delivering those big right forearms. Now just splashes in on him in the corner. I mean, when you've got men the size of mountains in there, I'll tell you, you just never know what's going to happen. And that's what makes SICW the best there is. When we say the best in professional wrestling, that's because you never know what you're going to witness, whether it's here on TV every Sunday night or if you're at one of our shows. Speaking of the shows we mentioned earlier, we're going to be going back to Belleville to the Little Devils later on this year. We're going to be going to the Missouri Athletic Club. We're going back to Fairmont City. We're going back to the Worldwide Technology Raceway when NASCAR returns. SICW is making the rounds for 2025. And don't forget the big date, May 16th and 17th, when we talk about SICW Fan Fest number 3. That's right. Already a great lineup taking place there. The likes of Dr. D. David Schultz, Kevin Von Erich. That's right. Kevin Von Erich will be at Fan Fest 3, along with the Rock and Roll Express, Dan the Beast Severin, Abdullah the Butcher. I mean, and the list just gets bigger and bigger. Go to SICW.org for all the information. You can purchase your tickets. That event's going to take place at the Hilton at the St. Louis Airport this year. And for those of you who haven't got your tickets yet, you need to do so now because they're going pretty quick. That Friday night, Bill Apter will be there. He'll be hosting a question and answer session with the likes of Greg the Hammer Valentine, who will be inducted into the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. And Dr. D. David Schultz, as I said, will be there that Friday evening. Several of the legends will be there for a question and answer session hosted by Mr. Bill Apter. That's that Friday evening. Then Saturday, the 17th, 10 o'clock, the Fan Fest will open. You'll get there. We got vendors lined up. Mac Davis will be there along with Teddy Long, who we just announced this week will be receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award. We're really excited to have Teddy Long and Mac Davis. Now wait, look here. Kenny Kingston, this man, about 400 pounds, I would say himself, climbing up to the top rope. Oh my goodness. Look at this. He's up, comes off, and nobody is at home. Kowalski rolls out of the way. What a high-risk maneuver, and now Kowalski rolls him over to the other corner. It looks like he's going to set him up for that huge power bomb that he does. He's coming off of him. Oh, 450 plus pounds, 1, 2, and he got him. Or did he? I think he got him. That's usually the finishing move. Man, oh man. Kenny Kingston went up for that high-risk maneuver. Kowalski got out of the way and then delivered his own powerbomb, and now just continues to kick on Kenny Kingston. The referee trying to get him out of there, but Kowalski, we all know how the champion is. But whoa, here comes Steve Michaels. What's he doing here? Steve Michaels comes out, and now it's Kowalski and Michaels double teaming Kenny Kingston. three of the biggest men ever inside that SICW ring, and these two men are just manhandling Kenny Kingston. He is outnumbered here. Big forearm delivered. Now boots by Steve Michaels. Oh, here comes the Texan, and here comes Bobby D. Whoa, Bobby D and the Texan comes out, trying to equal up the sides here. Big nasty Glenn Williams was at ringside, and there he just left. He was doing some color, and fans, next Saturday night, you'll see the big Texan take on the guy you just saw run out of the arena, Big Nasty Glenn Williams. That's next Saturday night, March the 1st at the fairgrounds. We'll see you right back here.